comparing the number of objects. Are there more chicks or are there more turtles? And in this case, you should be able to see it literally just by looking at them, right? You can tell that there are more chicks because not only are they smaller, but the line extends further. And that is an idea that we're going to expand on more in first grade, which is using units as measurement. But for now, there is more chicks than turtles. Which tree has more apples? Well, it's actually pretty close. I'm pretty sure it's A, but let's count just to be safe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, A has 8, B has 6. And again, using words like more and greater interchangeably is really important because later on in pre-algebra and algebra, we will stick specifically to the word greater, and we really want students to have a good understanding that greater than and more than mean the same thing. Zach has 3 foxes. You should not have foxes. Foxes are not animals that you should domesticate unless you are a professional. If Zach is a little kid, as I imagine Zach is a little kid because this is a little kid's website right now, no foxes for kids. Okay, so who has fewer foxes? Again, that word fewer is good. Fewer, less than, very, very important information, very important vocabulary. Zoe has fewer. Are there fewer pigs or horses? Again, be careful, because if you answer a bunch of questions that say which one is more, and then the next one says fewer, and you're already in you're already in the habit of clicking the one that's more, you could end up getting it wrong on accident. Nothing wrong with getting it wrong on accident, but, just check yourself, before you wreck yourself. Yeah, I said it, deal with it. Which cage has fewer bugs? I'm pretty sure it's this bottom one with 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't have to count any further. Once I get to 6 and there are still bugs left, that one has more. So, which one has fewer? B. Zach, you should not have foxes. I know for a fact that they're illegal in California. At least for, normal, everyday people. Lena found 3 ladybugs. Jose found, or ladybird beetles, I guess is the technical name. Jose found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ladybird beetles before he got banned. Who has fewer ladybugs? Looks like Lena has fewer to me. Are there fewer ice cream cones or cookies? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ice cream cones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cookies. Either way, I'm pretty happy. I'll make sure to put these in the freezer because there's no way I'm going to eat all of them. Give me a tummy ache. Moving on. Now comparing numbers to 10, that's interesting. I'm not sure what to expect here. It's been actually a bit since I've gone this way. Comparing numbers up to 10. Okay, so we're comparing the two numbers. So before, we were comparing numbers based on the actual cardinality of actual sets in front of you. You could see, so long as the things were roughly the same size, you could see which one had more just by looking. But now you have to know what the numbers are and what the order of the numbers are. And again, it's using this word greater. I think I can zoom in a bit to make this a little bit easier to see. And 7 is the greater number. The number 3 is less than 6. Which number is less, 10 or 3? Well, it's 3. And in fact, if we're only going up to 10, 10 will be the highest number that we're going to be dealing with. It will be the only double-digit number in these problems. The number 10 is greater than everything up to 10, except for 10 itself, so it is definitely greater than 5. By the way, just as a quick highlight, you can always click on that see how we answered this question, and it'll tell you how they answered the question. Sometimes their method and your method will be slightly different, and you can benefit from getting that extra information. Just don't hit that button until you've answered, because if you hit that hint button before you answer, then it gets marked wrong automatically, as every high school student ever has learned to their detriment at some point. Which number is greater? 8 is greater than 4. The number 2 is definitely less than 9 by a fair amount. And later on, we'll find out how much less than 9 it is. And which number is greater? The number 9 is definitely greater than 1. We are done with comparing numbers up to 10. Okay. Compare numbers of objects 2. Then we got teens, and then we got a quiz, and then we got a unit test, and then we will be at 100%. So we are moving right along. Compare numbers of objects 2. Let's go. Oh, neat. Okay, so this is cool. So are there more foods or are there more animals? Now, we're going to assume that for the sake of this problem, the pig is an animal and not a food. So we have 2 animals, we have 3 foods. This is not trying to make a political statement. This is not run by PETA. There are more foods than animals, even if one of the animals is technically also a food. I guess they're both technically. I guess any animal is technically a food if the circumstances are desperate enough. We count the most elephants, foxes, or ladybugs. Well, let's see. I see 2 ladybugs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 foxes, and 1, 2, 3, 4 elephants. So it looks like there are the most foxes. And again, we are developing complexity. Now we have 3 groups to compare instead of just 2. And the idea that you can take a rule that works for 2 groups and expand it so that it works for 3 groups as well is powerful. And it's a thing that we will be reinforcing a lot over the course of our math careers. There are fewer plants than animals. We count the most letters, numbers, or stars. Let's see. I see 3 stars and 2 each of letters and numbers. So it looks like stars it is. It did say the most, right? Okay, just making sure. Sometimes if you start to get into a rhythm and you're going too fast, you can end up making a bonehead mistake. Happens to me all the time. And because I'm in front of at least 8 people right now, I am trying my best to be careful and thoughtful instead of barreling ahead like I would if this was a speed run. There are more animals or foods. Let's see, I see 1, 2, 3, 4 foods and 2 animals, so there are more foods. We count the most mice, bats, or caterpillars. There is 1 spoopy bat, there are 2 caterpillars, and there are 1, 2, 3 mice. That means there are the most mice. There are fewer dominoes or balls. I see 3 balls. I see 5 dominoes. There are fewer balls. I made it through that problem with a straight face. I am proud of myself. Moving on. We are up to teens. Now, teen numbers are again a bit of a stepping stone, because you're taking the idea of digits and numbers and the idea of arithmetic and the idea of multiplication, and you're kind of jamming them all together. So be patient when it comes to the teens, especially since 12 is a weird number, 11's a weird number, right? All the rest of them say teen, and like it's a pattern that only repeats once, right? You never really get the teens again, at least unless you're talking about calendar years. So, teen numbers. 10 plus 6. Now, I know, obviously, on the top of my head that this is 16. So I don't need the visual aid. But if you notice, this is indeed being, it's being organized into 10 boxes again, right? We talked about 10 boxes before. We've got up here, oh, hold on. We've got up here a box of 10, so we don't have to count it. If we know that it's a 10 box, we can just assume that it's 10, and then we can count 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Or if we felt like it, we could count them all one by one on our fingers. That's fine. We're in kindergarten at this point. Any method is a good method. That's something that I think a lot of teachers and a lot of parents lose sight of. So long as the student knows what they're doing and can explain it in a way that other people understand, there is no wrong method. Which one has 14 ladybugs? Well, I'm hoping that this is in a group of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 and 4 is 14. 10 plus 8 is 18. And this is an example of a very simple kind of problem that we will be complexifying later on. We will later on have like 5,432, and it will split it up into 5,430 and 2 to really drive home the sort of summative and exponential nature of numbers. I know I'm using big words again. We have 10 bananas. We want 16 bananas. We need 6 more bananas. Come, Mr. Tallyman. How would we fill in the second 10 grid to make 15? Well, we've got a full 10 grid that is full of 10. That's why it's called a 10 grid. So which one of these has 5? Well, 5 would be half of the 10 grid. That would be another really great thing for a kid to be able to vocalize if they said, oh yeah, 5 is half of 10, so the one that's half full would be 5. And that makes 15. 10 plus 9 is 19. Again, if you really think about it, the only math you're doing here is 0 plus 9, right? That 1 in the tens place is just kind of coming along for the ride. Which group has 17 sharks? I'm going to say this one. And the way I did it was I noticed that these are in rows of 10, or at least I assume they're in rows of 10 because we're in the teen numbers. And I actually subtracted from 20, right? 20, 19, 18, 17. In between, I would like to thank Sauce Kitten for the raid. I really appreciate you and the viewers that you're bringing in. If you have any questions about the math, please let me know. If you have any comments or perspectives to share, please do. And also, please ignore my former students who are being boneheads in the chat.